Senator Billy Lawless, and you have 8 minutes.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Minister, welcome to the House. I welcome the publication of the Migrant Integration Strategy, which includes a number of concrete key measures that are really worth highlighting. The establishment by local authority of networks aimed at reaching out to hard-to-reach migrant groups to help them to engage with government departments and to provide information on their needs. The establishment of a Communities Integration Fund intended to support organisations in local communities, sports organisations, faith organisations to undertake actions to promote the integration of migrants into their communities. The monitoring of current school enrolment policies over time to address their impact on the enrolment of migrant students. The inclusion of a language component in education and training programmes for unemployed migrants with poor English proficiency. Initiatives to ensure that migrant needs in relation to skills acquisition and labour market activation are addressed, and initiatives to encourage the business sector to play a role in promoting integration. Cathaoirleach, I am more hopeful now than at any point in the last 12 months as anti-immigrant platforms are being defeated across Europe. The outcome of the US election, along with Brexit, tapped into a psyche across Western democracies that pro-migrant policies would push you or your political party off an electoral cliff. Chancellor Merkel's brave decision in 2015 to take hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees following a global outcry amidst the treacherous and awful fatal journeys children and adults were taking to get to Europe. This brave decision, which was broadly heralded at the time as a decision taken in spite of the political risks, subsequently became widely panned by political pundits, predicting that the wave of populism which delivered Brexit and the US would crash onto the European Union shores. We were told that in the Netherlands they would elect a person who was openly Islamophobic. This did not happen. In Austria, they said that a candidate of a former Holocaust-denying anti-immigrant party would be elected president. This did not happen. In France, Le Pen and her anti-Semitic, anti-immigrant trappings was to become president of France. This also did not happen. Finally, we were told that Chancellor Merkel would pay a big political price for the decision to open Germany's borders to those fleeing appalling strife. Instead, as recently as just last Sunday, Chancellor Merkel is winning state elections and looks set to be returned to power in September. Cathaoirleach, when the United States President issued an executive order that in effect banned Muslims from the United States, the national outcry which this action created brought people of all race and hue together in what has been one of the strongest fightbacks to any presidential decision that I can recall in my lifetime. From January the 28th to January the 31st, almost 50 cases were filed in federal courts seeking to prevent the order from coming into being. I was part of thousands of protesters who gathered at airports and other locations throughout the United States. The first Muslim ban was withdrawn and a new one developed, but this order was also halted by the US court from preventing it from going into effect. Cathaoirleach, as I say, I welcome these initiatives proposed by the Minister. I welcome the global tide that is shifting against anti-immigrant rhetoric. But I must ask the Minister about the 4,500 people in direct provision in Ireland. What moves are being made to accelerate their cases for adjudication? Direct provision was set up as a temporary measure in the year 2000, and here we are, nearly 18 years later, and not a lot has changed in their lives, conditions, and the supports of these people. Some families have been in direct provision for up to 10 years. I know personally of a case of 3 women from Africa, different cultures, different countries, sharing one room. Parents trying to support children in their home countries on the pittance of €19 per week. This cannot continue, Minister. The conditions they are living under are unacceptable. Their children can attend secondary school but cannot receive third-level education, and they are unable to avail fully of social welfare or housing supports. Minister, can you tell me how far advanced is the Department of Justice in implementing the findings of the working group on improvements to the protection process that was chaired by Dr. Brian McMahon, which was first published in 2015. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Senator.